So as you know, there's a lot of things you can do to the Model 3 and the Model Y to help with handling or customize the car quite a bit. Not so much for the Model S Plaid yet. There are a few things. Well, I've got a drive coming up in March that I entered that it's going to be some spirited driving, we'll say. And so I called my friends at MountainPass Performance and I told them what I'm going to be doing, and I said, you know, I got this back from the body shop. We've already done the brake kit up front. I think I need to purchase the rear to finish that up. And they said, well, if you're going to be doing some spirited driving, this is what we recommend first. It's a solid front bearing for the Model S Plaid. It's actually two different bearings. And what this does, it takes away that squishy feeling, that floating, that disconnected feeling that you have when you're cornering hard. It's the bearing at the very bottom of the lower control arm and the lower tension arm. It's the tension arm is the one that moves forward, that really keeps the suspension in place from braking really hard and also accelerating hard. It keeps the lower control arm in its place. It kind of forms a triangle to keep everything in place. Now, the factory bushing is actually rubber, and that's good for sound, comfort. That can actually cause some problems with an air ride because you raise and lower the car with the air ride, and that adjusts, and it basically becomes a torsion bar. So MountainPass replaces both of those with a sealed spherical bearing instead of rubber that moves around, that can actually corrode over time and break apart and move. This is a spherical bearing, so it's a bearing. It's a round bearing that can adjust infinite, but it doesn't give back and forth. And that's where you get that better feeling of road handling, and where you turn in and you don't feel that squishy feeling as you're turning in. It also doesn't change your camber or your toe. A rubber bushing is going to change as you put more pressure on there. And it's not going to be precise. And with a car this heavy and the power this makes, you want precise turning. When I ordered these, I called my friend Bernard, who owns the Autohaus. If you're in Charlotte area and you're looking for anything like this to be installed on your car, on your Tesla, whatever, anything, Bernard can do it. I called him up and he says, that's going to really stiffen up your ride. And I was really worried about that. If you're just traveling back and forth to work, this isn't really necessary. But if you're going to do it like spirited driving, then you really want this. And he said, it's really going to stiffen it up. And he was really worried about it. And I was too. After he told me this, and I already had them come in here, they were already shipped. So to my surprise, really not. You can feel more on the road. You can feel in the steering wheel. But in autopilot, you don't feel anything. At least I don't. And my wife doesn't either. So the reason I had to call Bernard and go to his shop is because these have to be pressed in place, where you have to press out the other bearings and press these in. And it really takes a 4-ton press. And I have a lot of tools here, but I don't have a 4-ton press. Plus you need a car aligned. And I'm glad I did, because it really wasn't aligned from the accident. I mean, it was still in green pretty much, but Bernard got it dialed in almost perfect, and it took over an hour and a half to do that. And that's what he does. I mean, when you're on the alignment rack, green is good, but perfect green is better. So it was really cool to see him work and talk with his other employees. One of his other employees used to work at Tesla, so it was fun conversating about all that. But it was really fun to watch him work and how he pressed this bearing out, and he actually asked me to freeze them overnight. So I froze them, and that must actually shrink everything just enough because the aluminum housing doesn't move, and you really don't want to heat up the aluminum housing. You'd rather shrink the bearing, and it slides in a lot easier. And then once it warms up, it's in there for good. He tried pressing these out with a handheld press, so he didn't have to pull the arms off the car, but that didn't work. He ended up having to go over to the press, and it was light, easy work after that. So this has a slight chamfer right on the one edge. The other side doesn't. And then right here, there's a slight chamfer on one side. That way you get it aligned and hopefully get it in straight the first time. He was able to press all of them out, push all the new ones in, press all the new ones in, and line them up perfectly, and bolt everything back together, throw it on the alignment rack, and again, like I said, he aligned this thing perfectly. And then I took him for a ride in it. Actually, he drove it first. So just like that, it's all set, all ready to go. The bushings are in there. It just got aligned. He's going for a test ride to make sure everything's right, and then it's mine. We're gonna drive that on the 45-minute drive home. So if you're in the Charlotte area, the Autohaus is not far. It's in Denver, which is on the west side of Lake Norman. He can do anything. Hand show installs. He can do suspension installs. If you need alignment, you're out of warranty, anything like that, he can do it. He can replace your battery packs. He can do anything on a Tesla. Just hit him up, give him a call. If you have anything from Hand Show that you want to have him install, just buy the parts that you want, give him a call, and he'll install them for you. He does awesome work, and that's why I take my car here. Tesla won't touch it if you do stuff like this, but Bernard will. Come to the Autohaus. As you see, they work on Teslas. Plus, they have a Model 3. That's their car. I actually met Bernard when I was down in Florida. I went to Electrify Garage to see Chris, and he was there being trained. So he knows what he's doing. Plus, he's got another technician that works here that used to work at Tesla. So they know everything they can about Teslas. Plus, they can do that. If you have a gas car, they can do this too. And then he had never seen a Plaid before, so I had to show him how to put it in gear and everything. But so then I took him and let him experience the Plaid drag strip mode. With 70% battery, so it wasn't perfect, and it was kind of raining a little bit. So Tesla has great traction control, but yeah, still was pretty fast. He almost lost his phone into the back seat. I didn't really notice that much more stiffness because it's on the control arms that are closer to the center. The suspension still goes up and down just fine. And actually it can adjust up and down more because this is a bearing, infinite as much as it can go up and down. It's really locked to the suspension. So I'm still locked to the air ride. It's the back and forth motion that is stopped, which is, I think, a good thing for the spirit of driving that I'm gonna be doing. And I'm not done. There's gonna be more stuff from MountainPass Performance that I'm gonna put on this thing before our trip. And if you notice, the mirror is white. I actually did hit a garbage can and that had to get replaced. The mirror cap wasn't in from Tesla, so I have to wrap this one. Yeah, thought I was an autopilot, so make sure you are. So I'm excited to do more to this. If you like more stuff done with the Plaid Model S versus the Model Y, let me know down below. And of course, I'll let you know more about this trip as we get closer to it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast, and maybe we can start up our own. As always, stay awesome, stay positive. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya. Okay.